Welcome to Doing Small Better with Lane Allen Fields. I'm your host, Lane Allen Fields, and I help leaders of faith-based organizations and faith-based small businesses with revenues of $2 million or less improve their ethics, improve their effectiveness, and ultimately improve their earnings through coaching and consulting. Welcome, everybody, to the Doing Small Better podcast. I'm Lane Allen Fields, the versatile communicator, and I've got my man Thomas Dean with me. Thomas, how you doing?
I'm doing well, brother. Doing well. Glad to be here.
Good to have you, man. Thomas is the owner of the Premier Flooring Group, which is located in Conyers, Georgia, and serves all of Metro Atlanta. He's also the president and chairman, or the chairman and CEO of the Premier Business Network, which in itself is a Chamber of Commerce-like networking organization. And of course, he was one of the directors of the Rockdale Conyers Chamber of Commerce, and then is a sitting board member of 100 Black Men of DeKalb County. So Thomas, it's good to have you with us, man.
Thanks for having me, brother. I'm happy to be here.
Yep. So I want to have a conversation with you. For as long as I've known you, one of your biggest skills has been that of networking, relationship building, and of course, the Premier Business Network is a networking organization, a Chamber of Commerce-like organization. So I want to tap into your brain on that subject. Okay. And for those of you who are seeing this podcast for the first time, the whole point of this podcast, Doing Small Better, is born out of my heart and love for small businesses and small faith-based organizations. And the whole purpose and point of this podcast is to sew in to the leaders of these small businesses and solopreneurs and leaders in the faith-based space, so that if they want to stay or remain intentionally small, they'll be equipped to be the best small business, best small organization that they can be. And if their intention is to grow and to be scalable, you have to be ready to grow. You have to be ready to scale. You can't just wake up one day and say, I want to take this business to this particular height or have this particular number of employees if certain things aren't foundational, if they're not, if you don't have just some really fundamental things about your business or your organization buttoned up. And so the whole point of Doing Small Better is to help people just like you. And the reason why I have on people like Thomas and people like me is because we either are or once were exactly where you are. And we've learned by making every mistake in the book. We've experienced all the pain points, and we want to talk about it so that you don't have to. So that's what's up, Thomas. That's what this is it. That's what this is about.
Sounds good.
All right. So tell us a little bit, first of all, about the Premier Flooring Group.
Okay, so the Premier Flooring Group is Metropolitan Atlanta's only African-American owned floor covering store.
Okay.
There's different African-American owned flooring businesses and stores, but my store is called the Grand Boutique Showroom. It's located in Conyers, Georgia. We call it the Peachtree of Conyers. It's on Highway 138, which is the main drag in Conyers, Georgia. We've been in business now just about 9 years.
Okay.
Been in the location that I'm in now about 7.5 years.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful showroom you have.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. We call it the Grand Boutique because I'm a boutique shopper, because I'm married to a boutique shopper.
Okay.
And we learned that when you go into high-end boutiques, you're treated differently. There's a air of customer service.
Absolutely.
They treat you well. There's personalized service. And it's not a huge atmosphere, so that you can have someone walking with you, answering questions, giving suggestions, design perspectives, and it helps to make an educated decision. Well, I decided to implement that in the flooring space, which is very uncommon. Usually it's big, huge box store. They say, go for what you know, find what you need. There's no customer service at all. So we're just the opposite. Offer folks a glass of wine, a cold beer, or a bottle of water when they're shopping. We have really nice furnishings there in an atmosphere that's clean and finessed so that people can be comfortable while they're going through their shopping experience.
Yeah, and that whole boutique experience resonates with me because I'm a boutique contractor. I thought about and even attempted to be like a mass production contractor and just have a bunch of jobs going here, there, and everywhere. And I realized that that's not my style because I too am a boutique shopper. For example, when I go to men's clothing stores, I'm not a real K&G kind of person or Ross or Marshall. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not my way to have to sit and pick through all these things. I prefer to go to a men's shop, a men's boutique, a tailor, a haberdasher. Absolutely. And so with my clients, I give them that boutique experience as well. And so I absolutely completely understand what you mean when you say that your place is a boutique flooring store. But you also hit the road and do outside sales.
Yes, absolutely.
So if someone needs for you to come to their home and to take a look around, take some measurements, give a few samples, talk about their vision and philosophy on what they want to do to their home, you do that too, right?
Well, realistically, it's one they go in with another. So when someone spends time with me in the Grand Boutique showroom, if they select a specific floor they like, I like this wood. It's a gray tone. I think it would look great in my home. Well, then I take notes of what their choice is. However, I cannot put the project together with them until I go to their home.
Okay.
Because I have to take accurate measurements of the room or rooms that they want to renovate.
Okay.
But when I'm in the home, I'll measure. We'll bring the samples of what they selected. And I usually bring a few extra so that we could make sure that the flooring they selected complements the furnishings, paint keys, cabinetry, and things that they have in their existing home. Because my goal is to help create a look that works with what they've already invested in.
Oh, nice.
So that when we don't put new floors in and cause them have to refurnish the whole home. So when I go out to the home, that's like the Part B experience. You come in, you select what you like, and then I come out to the home, I measure and confirm. So we'll know an exact or accurate measurement as to how much material I need to order to complete your project. But I also help you to coordinate the look based on the flooring you selected and the things that you already have in the home.
Nice. So give us a little bit about your background. How long have you been in the flooring business?
So I've been in the flooring business now 37 years. I started as a young man in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the floor covering business as a showroom salesman. I had been working in corporate sales, went into the timeshare space and sales, got tired of working nights and weekends. I was recruited into the floor covering business and I really had no interest in flooring.
Okay.
However, I had interest in the type of work schedule that they
Yes.
offered. They got off at 5 in the evenings. They only worked a half a day Saturday, no Sundays, no holidays. That was appealing to me, so I decided to take a stab at it. Once you got started in the flooring business, I realized it was a great business. It's something that is a needed entity, and I've been doing it a very, very long time, and I truly enjoy it now.
Yeah, you're exceptional at it. I've seen your work. I've had a chance to collab with you. Very, very high end stuff, but you meet all budgets.
That's
And
correct.
I like the fact that you meet all budgets. So if somebody's listening today and they think, well, I may not be able to afford a boutique experience, think again because you just might. And so I'll put all your contact information on the screen.
Appreciate
I'll
that.
also put your contact information in the bio in the description
Yes.
for the channel. And if somebody is watching and they're not necessarily a flooring contractor, but you own some kind of a small business, you're going to get some nuggets today that will absolutely translate to whatever business you're in. So just ride with us for a little while. And so to that end, Thomas, how did you implement your love for networking and relationship building into your specific business? How did it help you grow? How did it help you feed your family? How did it help you stay in business for all these many years?
So I learned many years ago before I owned my home business, when I was a salesman, a sales manager, sales leader, sales trainer in other folks' company,
Right.
that sales is equivalent to relationship building.
Absolutely.
People do business with people they know, they trust.
People they trust.
So how do you build trust with someone? It's just kind of like when you're in the phase of courtship in a new relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
You spend time with someone, you get to know their likes and dislikes. You find out what makes them tick. And in return, they find out what makes you tick.
Okay.
When you build healthy relationships with people and then they have an opportunity to refer business to you, then they create what's called a warm or hot lead.
Right.
Because they share a conversation with someone and they speak well of you. They speak in terms that are very flattering because they know you personally.
Yes.
It's not just a flatbread business relationship. Well, in the networking space, the key is to build a relationship with someone. And by doing that, they want to send business to you. But my advisement to folks is when you're networking, you should be meeting folks, finding out how you can help them grow their business.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that. And you talked about trust in the early part of your response. And I tell clients this all the time, that if you don't trust me, I'm not your contractor, right? And the reason being is because you're going to have to give me money. You're going to have to let me into your home. You're going to have to share information. For example, if it's an insurance repair or something like that, you're going to have to share information with me. And yes, competency, yes, fair pricing, yes, excellent workmanship and products. But the bottom line is, if you don't trust me, you're going to second guess everything I do. You're going to second guess everything I tell you. And that's not much of a relationship. So, if for anybody who's trying to choose a contractor, whether it's a general contractor like me or a flooring contractor like Thomas, and by the way, Premier Flooring Group, I happen to know personally, doesn't just do floors. They do bathrooms, tile, renovations of all kind. But his entree into that was through the floor.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, and I think anybody listening should really grab a hold to this philosophy, that building trust may be the biggest currency that you have.
I would
Because it
agree
can
with
buy,
that.
yeah, it can buy you business
I would agree
down
with
the
that.
road
Yes.
through referrals.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so you also talked about when you network properly, people trust you, they want to refer business to you. That also helps in the sales process, because it's a whole lot easier to close a warm lead than it is a cold one.
Absolutely. 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 So, Lane, marketing is marketing is marketing. Marketing usually equips, if you do it well, turns into sales.
Yeah.
But the idea of marketing in the networking space is you're connecting with real live people.
Yes.
It's not just an ad in a magazine. It's not just a billboard on the side of the interstate. It's not just clicks on the internet.
Okay.
When you connect with live people, it is a more robust way of generating leads in business, because you have someone that has a circle of influence sharing your information with someone that's in their circle of influence.
Right.
And because they trust that person,
Yes.
they automatically end up trusting you, because that person they trust said, "This is my guy."
Right.
And they say, "This is why you should do business with him."
Yes. I know he'll take care of you.
And
I
they
know he's
present,
gonna- They'll sell you.
who you are. That's
Yeah.
correct. So the whole premise of networking is to build healthy relationships with people that are in that networking space. Go into people learning about their business. And actually, when I meet new people in networking atmospheres, I'm not quick to pitch Premier Flooring Group.
Okay.
My goal is to find out as much as I can about their business. Any business owner, business manager, they're happy to talk about their business. So when they meet me and I introduce myself, I get them to tell me everything about their business. When you listen, you repeat what they say to make sure they know that you understand what they're saying. Ultimately, they will make a transition statement and say, "Well, tell me about Premier Flooring Group."
If they're good communicators. And we'll talk about
That's
that.
correct.
Yeah, we'll
That's
talk about,
correct.
because
That's
I've got some questions for you, man, on that as it relates to networking events.
Okay.
But before we go there,
Yes.
we've introduced the Premier Flooring Group.
Yes.
Now introduce the Premier Business Network. Tell us about it, where it is, what it's all about, the purpose
So-
of it.
I'll tell you from inception, I was originally a member of the Conyers Rockdale Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
I was the ambassador chairperson
the ambassador chairperson.
So what I did was I coordinated activities for all of the ambassadors, which were the spokespersons for the chamber.
Okay.
I hosted a networking group that fell under the auspice of the Conyers Rockdale Chamber, and we networked once a week with a specific group of small business owners.
Got it.
But to be a part of that group, you had to be a member of the chamber.
Okay.
I also facilitate all of the ribbon cuttings, new businesses that were getting started for the chamber. I had become the face of the Conyers Rockdale Chamber. However, I had an issue. My issue was anyone that wanted to visit our networking group, they were allowed to come and meet with us twice to make a decision if the group was a good fit for them,
Okay.
if they wanted to be a part of our networking canvas. But after the second visit, they had to pay membership to the chamber before they could come the third time.
Okay.
Well, that's not a big challenge for someone that has an established business that is doing well and they're just trying to scale or expand their business base. But for that brand new business owner that just quit their job, started their own business, they're still trying to figure out how they're going to cover their car note and their mortgage every month.
Absolutely.
Because they're just launching a brand new business. This is their baby. They don't have the resources to invest in membership. So my heart poured out because I was once a brand new business owner.
Yep.
My last year of being in the Conyers Chamber of Commerce, I paid for 4 different small businesses to join.
Just out of your heart for the business.
That's correct. And out of my pocket to where I knew that's the only way they can network with us. And I know they had a need to network because they were trying to grow a business from its infancy. And then one day on a Sunday morning, I realized that I didn't need the Chamber of Commerce to do what
that.
I was doing.
Right. Yeah.
So I sat up and I sat back and I thought about it and I said, I've been doing this for over 10 years under the Chamber's umbrella, not considering the years when I was a part of BNI and other networking.
What's BNI?
So BNI was the original business networking group that I started with when I was in my late teens, early 20s.
Oh, so network is just a fabric of your life. It's your life. It's a part of your lifestyle.
And I started networking when I was a sales professional before I owned a business.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to build up my client base, the businesses that I worked for allowed me to network, and they paid the fees for me to join these organizations because I was willing to dedicate time, spend time to build the base, right?
Right.
So at that point, I'm paying for people to be a member of the chamber. I'm growing businesses in my chamber group. We ended up with the largest networking group under the umbrella of the Conyers Rockdale Chamber.
Oh, wow.
That Sunday morning, I made a decision that I needed to do something different. Sometimes you just wake up and you feel something.
Yeah. So let me ask you something, and be honest. Well, I don't expect you to be anything but honest. Did that have just as much to do with your entrepreneurial spirit as anything else? Because guys like us, we can be a part of groups, we can be a part of organizations, but there's always something in us that looks at a thing and says, oh, I could do that on my own.
Well, I would think that maybe was a small part of my motivation.
Okay.
But the true motivation, I did well in the chamber. The chamber.
I know you did.
I blessed the chamber.
Yeah.
But I realized that there was a community of people that couldn't afford to be a part of that organization because of the expense. So at that point, I realized, how do I serve these people? Because I can only afford to pay for so many. And I didn't tell my wife I paid for any of them. So that's where it came from.
Is she going to learn that when she watches this podcast?
She knows about it now. Before I left the chamber, she knows about it now, right? But
all right.
At the end of the day, I realized that if I could start an organization that did the same thing, allowing the small business owner of the network to grow, spread their wings, build healthy relationships without them having to write a check.
Yeah.
That's what made me start the organization. And I set it up as a 501c3 so that, it can be a charitable donation where people, donated funds. But I don't charge membership. I don't charge membership at all.
Okay, so where do you meet? What times do you meet? And how many people show up these days?
So typically...
And Thomas, how long have you been doing the Premier Business Network?
So the Premier Business Network has been in existence almost 3 years now.
Okay.
It grew with leaps and bounds. I probably have maybe 80 to 100 businesses on roll registered with us. Typically in a meeting, which is every Monday morning. We meet at 8 o'clock every Monday morning at a restaurant that's called the Conyers Restaurant, located on Highway 138. It's right behind Mellow Mushroom, very popular pizza restaurant, right?
Wait a minute. This used to be
It's Loretta's.
Miss Loretta's.
Yes.
Okay.
Now it's called the Conyers Restaurant.
Okay.
It used to be a soulful place,
Yes.
Conyers. Well, we meet there every Monday morning. Free gathering. You can buy breakfast, coffee if you like, but we don't charge. We have a donation vase where people can donate to the organization to keep it moving, but there's not a fee to be a member. So typically I have between 40 and 50 people show up every week.
That's really good.
And
The same 40, 50, or do you have like a revolving?
I would
attendees.
venture to say I have a constant 35 that's there every single week.
So
then
those
there's
are
other
the
folks.
foundational members.
Yes, that's correct. Then you have other folks that are new members that come, people that have been invited as a guest, and then some of them stick and stay, and others, they're not committed to networking, so they don't get it. But the key is to build a relationship. We kind of have like a family structure. We're part of each other. We have a elevator speech presentation every week, and then one of the members every single week gets to present to the whole group
Nice.
on their business.
Nice.
So they give it a little deeper dive. But everybody gets to do an elevator speech. Everybody talks about one-on-one meetings they've had with each other the week before. Everybody acknowledges any leads that has been passed to them the week before as well. Positive reinforcement of positive behavior works. When you can publicly say, hey, great job, pass the lead to Mr. Jones. He was able to meet with these folks and close the deal. Those kinds of conversations help a lot. And when somebody has been diligent in passing the lead to you that you closed, then the following week you are working really hard to find a customer for them because you want to actually pay them back. It's not about total reciprocity, but it's an inward feeling that you feel you want to do.
Well, if that's a part of the culture that the Premier Business Network has established, even if it's an unintentional part of the culture, whereas, listen, I help you, you help me,
Yes.
we help one another, we all grow. A rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
That kind of a thing, then I don't think you have to apologize for whether or not it's reciprocal.
No, you don't.
Because
You don't have to apologize.
reciprocity,
It's very positive.
and but I also think that it's noble.
It is.
I also think it's noble because let's just go on and jump right into it. You got people like me with personalities like mine, ruggedly individualistic, radically individualistic. I play well with others, but I don't really participate in what I would call group activities. I have people who have just flat out stopped inviting me to stuff because I don't come, right? I was told that my personality trait is called an ambivert, like ambidextrous, right hand, left hand, and that I flow in times of extrovert personality, and then I flow as an introvert. And that can sometimes work for me, can sometimes work against me. I will admit it. And where it works against me is in networking.
Okay.
I know how to network. I'm actually pretty doggone good at being in a networking environment because I know how to kind of quote unquote work a room. But networking turned me off in the 90s.
Okay.
I was a pharmaceutical sales rep in New York City, and we had this thing called First Fridays. And I believe they had it in most major cities, in mid-sized cities. And one, I felt like it was a tad bit more of a dating scene than it was a network scene. And I was already married, so I wasn't looking for a date.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then the other thing is, I felt like it was incredibly pretentious. It was as though people only talked to you because they wanted something from you. And environments like that don't work for me because when I walk in, My philosophy is very similar to yours. Hey, tell me about your business. What do you do? What's your name? How long have you been doing it? How's it worked for you? Where do you think, it could be better? Just general stimulating conversation, right? And you mentioned it earlier, and I said we're going to get to that. One of the things that I found was people had a lack of communication skills that would lead them to turn around and then ask me about mine. Instead, what I found was that people always wanted to bum rush you and tell you all about them, all about their stuff, even things I didn't ask, right? And never get around to saying, Soleil, what do you do? Tell me about what you got going on, man. How can I help you? Tell me where you've been struggling with that. I might have crossed that bridge before. I might be able to help you. You know what I mean? And I never found anybody in all the times that I went to networking events in the 90s that was able to reciprocate, give and take, a nice little conversational flow. How can I help you? Here's how you can help me, blah, blah, blah. And I just wrote it off. And to be honest, Thomas, hadn't really been back to one, except for I went to one of yours many, many years ago. What do you say to people like me who say, man, networking ain't for me?
Well, the first thing is this.
All right. Come to the front of the class. Come on.
Once you meet a lady that you're interested in courtship,
Okay.
and you realize she's rude and crude, and she's not a good fit for you,
Right.
that doesn't stop you from dating.
I knew you were going there.
So this is the situation.
Okay.
One challenge that you probably had was you were in a networking scene in New York.
Perhaps.
That is a part of a disposition existence because different parts of the country have different parts of personalities, right?
Very true.
So now we're in the South.
Okay.
When you're in the South, Southern hospitality still exists.
Man, that thing is long gone.
To a very
That thing is long
to
gone.
a very real position
Okay.
that people that you're just talking with are willing to share a conversation with you, and they do not always have to have something to gain.
Okay.
But this is how you have to look at it. Even if you meet someone that you've engaged in conversation, they're totally selfish in their motives, and they haven't gotten around to your presentation and asking your presentation.
Right.
You have to look at them as practice.
Very much.
You're practicing on that individual on how you can increase your listening skills. You can regurgitate what they're saying and create an understanding of what they're communicating with you. So even if they haven't gotten to the point of asking the questions about your business, you look at them as practice. You chalk it up as you are sharpening your pen to be better at what you do. And then you move on. When you meet another person, you won't get the exact same disposition from that person. But when you go into a networking opportunity with the hopes that you can meet people that you may possibly be able to help grow their business, there will be a community of people in the room that'll have the same mindset as you. I'm not trying to say everyone in the room will think that way.
Right.
But if you come in with genuine intentions,
Right.
even if it's not this Friday that you build a relationship that gets you a lead, you come back the next Friday. Because what ends up happening is you begin to build a relationship with people in the room. They get to know you. Anyone in the East Atlanta corridor, whether you're in Stonecrest, whether you're in Rockdale County, whether you're in Newton County, if I come in the room, they will automatically say, oh, that's Thomas. He's the flooring guy. Because I exist in these spaces and I network. I don't always have an opportunity presented to me in a meeting. But me being in the room, and they know because of my elevator speech being proficient, and I greet people warmly, I'm the flooring and interior design guy, I built that name in any of the rooms that I show up.
Right.
So it's hard when you meet people that are selfish in their nature. But you have to chalk it up as, I'm just practicing on them. Let me get to the next person. Because in the sales game,
oh yeah,
you got to get to 10.
You got to get to those no's.
You got to get 10 no's before you get to yes, right?
Right.
You have to look at networking similar. It's not the same, but similar And if you're a guy that's in a space as an entrepreneur, salesperson, sales manager, you know how to have thick skin and you keep it rolling off the bat.
Absolutely.
But the
You have to
idea,
have it.
the idea is for you to be intentionally present, emotional, disciplined. They're different. So when you show up in a networking space, you have to be disciplined to go every week or every 2 weeks to build those relationships, even when you don't feel like it.
So you know what? This is good. This is really good, because that is so much like fitness and health. And if your business is going to be fit and healthy, you have to have a certain amount of referrals in your pipeline, right?
That's correct.
And so what happens? Because I'll tell you, man, I do 25 push-ups and I start looking in the mirror. If I don't see no definition
Right.
by Tuesday, I'm done. But of course, it doesn't work like that.
Yes.
You have to keep doing it, the discipline, the repetition, build the muscle. So you have to build that networking muscle, right?
That's correct.
And at some point, you'll start to actually see the results.
That's correct. And just like working out, it's not always comfortable.
Well, yeah,
Your muscle only grows when it becomes uncomfortable and you're
Absolutely.
stretching it, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to sow seed into an atmosphere, being constant, being consistent, helping people, showing yourself friendly. Then everybody wants to figure out, okay, help you.
Now, so when we talk about networking, this is deeper than just exchanging a business card and meeting a new person,
Yes, that's correct.
right? This is deeper than that.
Yes.
This is time. This is intention. This is repetition. This is almost like prospecting for business.
It is very much, but the way it works is when you're in a networking atmosphere, you're meeting people, you may be shaking hands, introducing yourself, but then everybody goes around the room and they do a 60-second elevator speech.
Yeah.
You have to practice to make your elevator speech clean, precise.
Absolutely.
But once you have a great elevator speech, the hope is that people hear that elevator speech. Now they want to know more about your business.
Right.
Because the elevator speech is not to tell people all about your business.
No.
It's just give them the right nuggets to build interest quickly. Well, once they build an interest, the next step in networking should be to schedule a one-on-one meeting away from the networking room, maybe at the coffee house, maybe at my office, maybe at your office if we have brick and mortars, or maybe at the Starbucks or Panera Bread.
Right.
But the key is then you have a one-on-one with this person that intrigued your interest just with their elevator speech, just with the short conversation you've had. Now you want to have a 30 to 45-minute conversation with them, just the two of you, and you can get them to roll out everything they do in their business.
Yeah.
And then you can roll out everything you do in your business. And then the two of you can match whiffs and figure out how you can help one another.
Yeah.
That's in the one-on-one meetings. So the networking meeting is the initial meeting, presenting yourself, saying hi. And then when you're intrigued, then you schedule a one-on-one meeting outside of that meeting to talk about the intricate details of the business. That's where the rubber really hits the road, with one-on-one meetings. That's part B after the networking meeting. Now with my group, we do that. We have one-on-ones outside of the meeting. We pass leads outside of the meeting. But the next week's meeting, the leader of the group stands and says, tell me who had one-on-one meetings last week and who did you meet with? Then you give them public acknowledgement.
So there's structure in here too.
That's correct.
Right.
So now you're giving those individuals public praise for taking time to meet with someone outside and build relationship in length. Then you stand, you said, I had a one-on-one with Mr. Jones. I learned a lot about his business, and I was really shocked to notice that he does date planning. He's an event planner, but his niche is he does intimate date night planning. That's very unique. Well, Those kinds of things are what you share with the group. Now I've learned something about this individual's business. I'm going to tell everyone about it. And then the people that didn't know that about Mr. Larry's business, now I need to have a one-on-one with Mr. Larry because I need some help in that area.
Now, do you have a website?
Well, we have a website, but the website is not to connect. The website is just to give the information as to where we meet, what time, where we're located. That's it.
So there's no directory in the website.
We do have a directory of members, the name of their business, how you contact them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That exists. But the key is to have one-on-one communication with someone so you can learn about their business, then you can sell them well. The goal is that everyone in the room at the Premier Business Network should be able to do an elevator speech on everyone in the room.
Oh, wow.
So you have one-on-ones with each person in the room.
So that's
at
homework.
some time.
It's homework too,
It
right?
is. But if you do the homework well, now I'm talking to someone about Lane Fields Construction. I can talk about what you specialize in.
Okay.
I can talk about how long you've been doing it, why you started. I can tell your backstory as to what made you start as a contractor. Well, those are the things that make people want to do business with someone. Not just, hey, take this call. This is my flooring guy. He does great work. No, that doesn't work. But if you say, hey, you need to meet Towers. He's a great guy. He's from New Orleans. He's a Southern gentleman. And he's a grandfather. He loves that grandbaby. And everything that he does is to support that grandbaby going to ballet school and karate. You know, people like to do business with people when they know your why.
Right, exactly.
So those are the kind of things that you develop in the networking space. And those things really work.
I love it. And, you know, I often think of what I would do if I started my business today. After all of the bumps and bruises, knee scrapes, sleepless nights, all the budget issues, wondering where the next contract was going to come, living from contract to contract, that whole life cycle of a small business. With everything that I've experienced, what would I do differently if I started today? And here are the two things. The first person that I would recruit on my team is an accountant to make sure my books are clean and my taxes are tight from day one, $1. And the second thing that I would probably do is to join a networking group. What do you think? What do you think about that as a philosophy?
So I have a lady that was one of my mentors. She was a business coach when I first started my business. And she had been in the Chamber of Commerce with me when I was a salesman for someone else's flooring store.
Okay.
And when I joined and I told her, Lorraine, I'm ready to jump ship and I need to start my own show. She said, I've been waiting for you to say that. She said to me, you will spend money on marketing, but I petition you to make sure you understand that the most valuable marketing investment you will ever do for your business is your networking groups, because those are live human resources that will all be selling your business.
Yes.
She said the paper ads, the billboards, all of the different things, they serve a purpose, mostly branding. But when you have relationships with people that will speak well of you, they are the easiest closest that you're ever going to have.
Absolutely.
So what she explained is be committed to the networking lifestyle that you have and you will do well. The people in this room, when they hear that Thomas is leaving the store he was working for and opening his own business, they will all start working overtime to send you business to make sure that you're successful because they know how hard you work to run someone else's business.
Yes. And, you know, there's that old cliche that usually network marketing people usually say, and I'm really not into network marketing at all, the whole multi-level marketing. But they always say that your network is your net worth.
That is true.
And it rings true.
That is true. But different than network marketing, if you have a business, you have healthy relationships, people know what your business is, they know what you specialize in and what makes you special, they will sell you. And what I teach in my group is this. I need everyone at the table in here to walk around with your antennas up. And you should be listening for problems that friends, family, and people in your circle of influence present to you. And your job is to present them a solution with one of your colleagues in the room.
Absolutely.
And if you're listening for problems, you're presenting solutions,
Right.
these people will be energetic about calling who you suggest they call
Absolutely.
because they need the solution. They may not say, hey, Lane, do you know anybody that does flooring? No. But they will get to work and they'll see you in the grocery store and they say, hey, man, how you doing this morning? Man, I'm not doing too good. I woke up this morning, went down to my basement, stepped off the step into the basement. I stepped right into water.
Right.
The hot water heater burst. I got water this much throughout cold room. I know what I'm going to do next.
Oh, I know exactly who can help you with that.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So the idea is for you to present solutions to people's problems.
Absolutely.
And when you can share a solution with them, like, oh my God, God must have sent me to see.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but the idea is just having that robust energy where you're listening for problems that you can suggest a solution.
Yeah. Now, somebody's been listening to us now for 30 minutes or so, however long we've been talking, 15, 20 minutes. And they say, okay, Lane, all right, Thomas, I get it. I'm in. I think I want to join a networking group. And they live in some other city other than where we are. How does someone go about finding a networking group or a networking event in their area?
Well, you always can go to your faithful internet
Yeah.
and put in local networking business organization.
So
That
the
exists.
Google machine.
The Google machine.
All right.
And there's different pockets that you can always look for. First of all, there's a chamber of commerce in every area of commerce in the world.
So that might be the logical entry into a local networking environment.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
So when you join a chamber of commerce, first thing you need to do is go and visit. And you need to visit their networking events. Some chambers of commerce, they don't have true networking events. They have a chamber luncheon once a month. If you go to their chamber luncheon, you need to observe, is it truly a networking event? Or are people just sitting with their friends and they're not even socializing at all?
Right.
Because I visited chamber groups like that. They didn't have networking events, but they had a luncheon every month. I said, well, I meet people at the luncheon. You get there to the luncheon, everybody's sitting in their own pockets. They're not talking to anyone.
Right.
People sitting with
Because people gravitate to people who are like them or
Right.
people who are comfortable.
I understand. The key is when you consider a chamber of commerce, you have to visit their events and see if there is a network friendly atmosphere going on. Because there will not always be a network friendly atmosphere. There's also groups like BNI, which is a professional networking group. They're expensive, but that's where I learned how to network as a young man. I joined BNI. There are different types of networking groups that exist all over. There's the Rotary Club. Rotary International is actually a service organization, but the Rotary Club exists internationally all over.
We had one in the town where I was raised.
That's correct. But the key is it's a businessmen's organization and it's a service organization where you're giving back to the community. But you meet people that are in business in that organization, you're serving side by side. Well, who are they going to refer when one of their family members needs someone?
Somebody
to
from
contract?
somebody from the Rotary
So
Club.
you build relationships with them, and now they're referring business to you with the help to relationship. So
Mhm.
you have to find out which type of networking organizations you want to join to find out what fits what you do the best.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's networking groups that are specific to tradesmen.
Okay.
You know, I was a part of a networking group that had plumbers, electricians. I was a flooring guy. They had painters. They were all tradesmen. One trade feeds off of the other, and I fed a lot of business, and I got a lot of business from that group. But they were a networking group of just tradesmen. So you have to do a little bit of research to find out which group fits you the best. Then go to visit. Once you visit, you'll figure out if it's an atmosphere that works with you, that you like, that you were comfortable in. And sometimes you may get an atmosphere that you're not comfortable with.
Right.
You say, okay, I visited there, that's not for me. Right.
Right.
But you have to put yourself out there. I tell people, you cannot be a 007 top secret business owner.
Absolutely.
Everywhere you go, you
They need
have
to
to be
know.
explaining
They
to
need to
folks,
know.
this is what I do,
Right.
right? They have to know. And just because they see you in a meeting and you're all nice and friendly and this and that, if you never explain to them what you do,
But that defeats the whole purpose.
exactly. But I have people that go in and they don't blow their own horn.
Right.
You
So that's
have to
a
be
big
willing.
mistake people make when they join a networking group is
Huge.
a what is it? A
Closed mouth never
don't
gets
get fed,
fed.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So those kinds of things truly make a difference. And as a chamber member, I mentioned the term ambassador.
Okay.
Well, I had a team of ambassadors working for me in the chamber. I was the head ambassador. The ambassador's job is when someone new comes to a meeting, they grab them by the hand, they introduce themselves, and then they bring them around the room and introduce them to other people in the room. The ambassadors are the ones who are, ambassador of goodwill.
Absolutely.
They are introducing you to other people. And then when they talk with you and say, well, what is your business? What do you do? And they find out I'm a flooring guy. I said, well, listen, I need you to meet Lane because Lane is a general contractor. He builds houses from ground up, renovates from ground up. I bet you all could partner. And then they bring me and they introduce me to you. And then they'll introduce me to the guy that owns Benjamin Moore Paints.
Right.
Because he's a tradesman and his business will feed off of your business. Well, the ambassador in that room should be connecting you with people that may have a business that complements yours if they're doing their job.
Right.
But then there's other opportunities where you're just working your way around the room yourself. But once people start to see you in the atmosphere, now you're becoming a regular. They want to know who you are and what you do because they realize that you're willing to make a time commitment to show up. Then that's fostering that relationship.
So I like that you use the word ambassador because the first thing that pops into my mind whenever I hear that word is that, we are ambassadors for Christ. We are brothers in the Lord, brothers in the faith. And the heart behind the Doing Small Better brand is faith-based at its core because I'm a faith-based entrepreneur.
Yes.
My ethics and the ethos of everything that I do stems from my relationship with God through Christ. So for you, as a faithful man of God who happens to be a small business owner, how does your faith interact with your business, your purpose, your why, the thing that makes you pop out of bed in the morning and do what you do so cheerfully and joyfully and, faithfully? How does your faith intertwine with your purpose as a networker?
I've been a salesman since I was in my teen years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always explained that I'm saved first and salesman second.
Amen.
I live by a quote that Martin Luther King Jr. always shared. And what he said was, if you help enough people along the way in life get what they want out of life, ultimately you get what you want out of life.
Absolutely. I believe that firmly.
So in the networking world, I work hard to connect people in networking and to help them get new customers, build healthy relationships. And when I've spent so much time helping them to connect and do well, then they make it their business to find a customer for me.
Right.
Because I've served them well. So when I approach the networking world, it's always to serve. Now, I know there's a benefit that comes from that.
Yeah.
But the key is if I serve well, then I will get the benefits of what I'm looking for. I don't really have to look for the next lead. I'm just building healthy relationships, helping refer as many people as I can, having as many one-on-ones as I can to understand people's business so that I can be a good sales and marketing agent for them. As a return to that, people start learning my business. They try to send me as much business as possible, connect me with people that may be able to help me in business. But the philosophy is my goal is to help as many people as I can.
Okay.
Across my path, and the reciprocity always comes full circle.
I love it. So it starts really with the heart of a servant.
That's correct.
So you'll notice that the tenets of the Doing Small Better brand
Yes.
is to find that balance, because this imagery here is like a scale,
Okay.
right? And we try to find that balance between purpose, practice, and profit,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because the purpose is the why you do what you do.
Mhm.
For the people who are listening, who have a little business that they're starting from their garage or one of the spare bedrooms in their house. But then your purpose has to dictate your practice.
Yes.
And if your practices are sound and healthy, then it should result in profitability.
I agree with that.
Right.
And you're talking about you have to be disciplined in your walk.
Indeed.
You cannot just wake up and say, this is just going to happen. We have to be willing to put in the work. And when you talk about networking and building healthy relationships, you have to be willing to put in time to build a relationship. Just once again, in courtship with that lady that you want to be a part of your life. If you only visit and see her once a month, that relationship will never grow.
Absolutely.
But if you connect with her as often as possible, you converse with her as often as possible, and you try to spend time with her as often as possible, then you build a better connection and things will grow and blossom. Same thing with networking. If you can be present, that's the first step of being a good networker. Show up, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're having a bad day. Show up, because then you start making connections, building relationships, because you're disciplined enough to show up. And then when you show up with a servant spirit, trying to help as many people as you can, then other people will be trying to help you. That's the bottom line.
That's almost like a small business utopia if you can get everybody to do that. So Thomas, let's talk to the person who is just getting started, or they've been started, but they can't get any traction. Nothing seems to be breaking for them, right? Or the person who's been doing well, but wants to have an exponential increase in the next 90 days, right? So a new start who needs to do something within the next 90 days to get that foundation right. Somebody in the mid-range who has been doing it, but they're struggling. And in the next 90 days, if something doesn't break, their business is going to shut down. Or the person who says, you know what, this has been pretty good. I want to scale. And I also want to scale my sphere of influence, my network. So I'm going to do this in the next 90 days. So you get the theme here.
Mm-hmm.
So in the next 90 days, what is your advice for somebody who wants to ramp up their networking game and give that thing a turbocharge?
The first thing that I would say is, if you truly want to grow, you need to have a business mentor.
Okay.
I think having a business
So which is
mentor,
a network? Yeah.
a network is a network group of people that you're partnering with. But there's one person in that group that is a true business coach.
Right.
That person will be able to help you to make good decisions and stop you from making some of the mistakes that you would make without any direction.
Right. I call those stupid taxes. So I also call it tuition.
I understand. Well, is if you're smart enough to partner with people that have made the wrong decisions and the right decisions and let them guide you, then it will stop you from making some of those mistakes. A business coach helps. I did that when I first started my business, even though I felt like I was a great networker. And I partnered with her. She taught me how to make my elevator speech better and more effective and clean.
Mm-hmm.
She taught me how to build more relationships and put myself in different places that would help my business grow. But literally, it saved me steps by partnering with someone that knew what they were doing. And then once you get to be a medium-sized business, okay, you're doing well, but you know you could do better. Once again, you need to partner with someone that has a business the size you want to be and ask them to take you in as a mentor. Most people are flattered when you ask them
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Yes.
So they take you under their wing because they're flattered that you think that they're successful enough to listen to now, then they pour everything into you. They pour everything into you because they want to see you be successful, right? And then when it comes down to scaling your business, you have to find a coach or someone who has scaled to the size you want to go to. Because you can't learn how to ride a bike by asking someone that's still on training wheels. So do not let the pride piece stop you from growing.
Right.
Because that's what we get caught up on. I'm a successful businessman and I don't need anyone to tell me. You need someone to tell you.
You know,
You need someone to help you.
you know what my mother used to say?
What was that?
She, when you needed, had some significant thing going on, a significant life event as a young person, instead of going to the seasoned, wizened, gray-haired person in your life, you go to one of your little friends. And she said, "You just the Tweedledee and Tweedledum."
Yeah.
That's your little friends. Okay, so a mentor,
Right.
all right. What else?
You have to do the work.
Put in the work.
So what happens is now you're going to meet someone and they tell you, well, this is what worked for me. You know, I had to talk to X amount of people per week, every week, no matter what.
Right.
And it may be a huge number that you're like, how can I talk to that many people? But if they tell you what works, you have to be willing to put in the work to make it happen, right?
Yeah, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel when somebody's already done it.
But what happens is someone that's extremely successful tell you what they do. And then you say, oh, that's great. Well, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do it. No.
Right.
You need to do what they did.
Or at the very least, a version of it. Right. You put
your be exactly the same method.
Right. You give it your own voice.
That's correct. That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this has been some really rich information. So much so that I got to be honest with you, you have even turned my attitude about networking. So don't be shocked if you start to see me.
Well, I think it would be a great thing.
That's a little far for me, but
yeah, it'd be a great thing. But think about it. Anything worth having is worth working for.
Absolutely.
And I have taken a drive to Kennesaw, Georgia from Conyers once a month to a networking group when I started keynote speaking.
Because it was worth it.
Because they were the atmosphere that I could learn from.
Right.
And I got a different nugget every time I took that drive.
Yep.
So when you're sacrificing to do something that's a stretch for you, when you go in, you're going to go in with the real tenacity, like, I am going to get something from this meeting. I'm going to see how many people that I can talk to and see how I can help them. You set up a discipline for yourself. So you go in with a must-do attitude. When you do that, you end up being successful.
I love it. I love it. So, Thomas, networking expert extraordinaire, we know you're not perfect. We know you've made some mistakes in networking. Help us avoid some of the pitfalls.
So you can become a lazy networker. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
When you join a networking group, you have to put together your 60-second elevator speech.
Okay. Because it's going to be required of you.
And when you show up, you have to be prepared to present that.
Okay.
But one of my business coaches told me a long time ago, they said, listen, if you want to really engage people to have them to want to be interested in what you do, you have to practice your elevator speech.
Yes.
Well, what does that mean? Every Monday when I come, I stand up and I practice.
No, you got to do the work at home.
So you need to get in the mirror.
Yep.
When you're at home and practice your elevator speech out loud. When you're driving in your vehicle.
Yep.
And you're going to an apartment, turn the radio off, practice your elevator speech, record it with that cellular device.
Yep.
Play it back and say, is that clean enough?
Yeah.
And another thing that works great is if you have adolescent children, grandchildren, nieces or nephews, stop them and tell them your elevator speech. Children are brutally honest. They will say, Uncle Tom, you need to do better than that. That was kind of right.
Yeah.
They're not going to be trying to spare your feelings like your wife would. So if you can practice to an adolescent and get their true opinion, it works. But you have to try to be better at your game if you're going to excel in that space.
Okay.
And then you have to set a goal, deliberate, write it down for how many people you're going to have one-on-ones with every week. If it's one a week, fine. If it's two a week, fine. But you set a goal. And then everyone in that group, within a 6-month period of time, you should have met with everyone in the group. And you should know enough about their business that if we were in a meeting and I called on you to do their elevator speech, you should be able to do it.
Nice. Okay. All right. So mistake number one would be not showing up consistently. Mistake number two would be not putting in the work.
Lazy network.
Lazy network. And is there another pitfall that you can help someone avoid? Also, you talked earlier about going to visit networking groups to make sure that they're the right one for you. That was very, very good advice. So what are the pitfalls?
Remembering that you are there to help someone else.
So the mistake would be going in there just to see what you can get, as opposed to going in there to see how you can be a blessing to someone else.
Because you will get more results, greater results from going in as a servant leader than going in looking for what someone else can do for you. It happens. They're going to bless you, but you have to go in trying to help, trying to engage people to see what could you do, asking them, hey, what does an ideal customer look like for you? I'd like to know what I should be looking for to help you. When you have those kind of conversations with people, people get excited about say, oh, wow, this guy's trying to help me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because let me not give off the impression that I don't have a networking group or a referral group,
Right.
because I do.
Right.
You know, there's me and about 3 or 4 guys that we throw stuff back and forth.
Right.
Usually it's my plumber and my mechanical contractor, right? But one of them was telling people to call me for everything, and I had to clarify it for him. I said, no, I mean, we do know how to fix a toilet, but
that's not the ideal customer.
That's not the ideal customer, right?
You have to train. You have to train the people that you're networking with as to what kind of customer to feed you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to train them by explaining to them, this is what my ideal customer looks like.
This is good. Yeah.
If you don't train the person you're networking with, they're sending you people that you really don't want.
Right.
Not to say you don't want all customers, but you don't want all customers.
Yeah, no, not all
you don't
customers.
Want all customers. So the idea is, if you have the right one-on-one with these people, they'll understand what your niche is. Like with me, yeah, I would love to have a custom home builder that's building houses and I can do 30 houses at one time. But row houses, Trek builders, they're not necessarily my customer.
Right.
Because they just want it done quick and cheap.
Right.
They don't really care about the real results. Well, I'm a different guy. I actually care about my customers. I want to create something that's beautiful, and I want to enhance an experience for a homeowner. So, yes, I'd love to meet a builder if he's a custom builder that's trying to do something detailed and special.
Yeah, just like most investors are not right for me, because most, the philosophy behind a real estate investor is to keep expenses low, profits high. And that includes the workmanship in many cases. And I'm not the right contractor for them because I'm not the cheapest game in town.
Right.
I actually take great pride in the quality of workmanship that my subs perform. And my subs are not the cheapest in town. So if they are premium and I'm premium, and you put my premium on top of their premium, that's usually going to price me out of an investor, unless they're looking to do a high-end flip. If they're looking to do a high-end flip, that's
then
different.
you can make it happen.
Yeah, but just a bread and butter, I want to get it, turn it in 60 days and move on. That investor is usually not the right person. Excuse me. I'm usually not the right contractor for that investor. There is somebody out there, but it's not me.
But the idea is knowing your lane.
Right.
And then training the people that you're networking with what your ideal customer looks like, so they know who to send you, who not to send you. And if we have a good enough relationship that I know he doesn't do this, then I'll know who to send you and who not to send you.
Right.
But all of that comes from building a healthy relationship. That's the bottom line. You have to get to know someone, get to know their business, and then you won't have to guess what kind of customer they want. and what they're looking for, you'll always be able to fit the right person in with them.
I love it. That's the final word. And if you are a small business owner, solopreneur, leader of a small organization, and you want to know how to do small better, networking is one of the keys. So build relationships, find your tribe, find your group, find your networking cohort.
Yes.
And you, my friend, will do small better.